Hello, welcome back to the corporate burnouts. Hey, Mandy, how are you?
So good. How are you?
I'm doing good, doing good. Same old over here. What about you?
Yeah. So we just went to Louisville for the weekend and it brought back some memories. So Highway 65 that runs straight through the middle and, like to the support center for Texas Roadhouse. It was closed going that direction. So you could go one direction, you couldn't go the other direction. And it reminded me of the time that we tried to leave the hotel on time to get to a meeting at the support center, and we could not get out of downtown because of because they always, in Louisville, they always have construction and those crazy highway systems. And twice we went over to Indiana. So we were like trying to follow
And
maps.
there's no way.
No,
There's no way to not once you get there.
yeah, so once you're where you're going, like you're going to Indiana, like you're going over the bridge, you can't turn around, so
Yeah.
you have to go all the way to Indiana and then come all the way back. And we did it 2 different times that morning and we're like, "Oh my God, we're going to be so late." And like you can't have a whole team be late. Like that just looks like shit. So
Yeah.
we're
And
just
roll in with like Starbucks.
well, and the thing is that I think we had to skip Starbucks that day because
Yeah.
we would always go out and get Starbucks nearer to the support center, but we tried so hard. That's the day that I learned about Waze because Waze will tell you when shit is closed, which is good. But it took us, like, if you remember,
I don't
it's
remember this at all. Was I
you
there?
don't. I mean,
I don't know if I was
I
in the car
as-
with you.
I assume that you would be with us because we would always all ride together. But yeah, but I remember for sure Macy and Amanda. But so we ended up, Waze is telling us to go down this hill into an alley, which actually leads you to the on ramp to
Uh-huh.
but that's why we missed it the second time. Like we pull up Waze and then whoever's driving is like, that doesn't make sense. Why would we go down an alley? Anyway, we were so embarrassed having to walk in late and it brought back all those memories. So I'm telling Dan all about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't tell you why they would put us up downtown. So much downtown, and it just wasn't close by. Like there were so many hotels that were a lot easier to get in and out of. And I know that it was like support center awards and things where we
Yeah, I
needed to
was
be
like, I think the
downtown,
only
but
time that we ever stayed downtown was if there was an event, a
mhm,
function that we were going to be doing downtown, but we always tacked on meetings
mhm,
because we're all gonna be there, so that made sense. Otherwise, I didn't stay downtown when I was in Louisville, so
yeah. But I'm an on time person, right?
yeah.
And that was so embarrassing to me. Like, it was so embarrassing to have come in late because
Yeah.
you can't read a map, because that's basically what it came down to. And that
Right, it
wasn't
makes you
true.
feel stupid.
Yeah, but it's like, I literally have been to Indiana twice today, and I'm trying to be in Kentucky. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it does make you feel pretty stupid. Not the kind that makes you not, like, feel like you could go back to work, but I think that's why I wanted to talk about this today. Like, we
Yeah,
want to do a
well,
whole episode on just like those embarrassing things that happened. Like, most people don't want to relive them. We do. We think that it's hilarious, but
yeah, I think it's great, and I have enjoyed going back through some of those stories because, like, you forget over time, and man,
you never
some of
thought
those
you'd forget,
things.
though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you never thought you could.
Yeah, and it's like some of those things were, like, made the job so fun because everything was just so messed up sometimes, and it's
Mhm.
like so memory lane was fun. I'm glad that we're gonna do this. A full episode on embarrassing moments or maybe even mistakes that you've made that make you feel like, "I can never walk back into this room and look these people in the face before," and, like,
Mm.
what do you do about it? You know? Because at the end of the day,
Yeah.
like, shit happens to everybody.
Yeah.
So,
In our situation, we never quit over any of these things, right?
no.
But we wanna hear from you guys too, like, send the crazy embarrassing stories, the things that happened to you at work, we wanna hear them, and then tell us if you quit or you didn't quit, because I think some people probably do quit, right? Like, if it's not that important of a
Yeah.
job, like, if it was when you worked at Taco Bell when you were 17, like, you might have done something super embarrassing or had something happen to you, and then you never went back, right? Like,
Yeah.
that would be, a career is different. You think that
Yeah.
you can't go back, but you absolutely do. So we would love to hear. Did you go back? Because most people can handle it
I would
after
think
the
so,
initial shock.
especially yeah, I think for most of us, like, especially when you're young, like, when you get embarrassed when something happens, it sort of feels like the end of the world, and
Mhm.
it's like, what is it so hard? It's debilitating, like, you
Mhm.
can't think, you can't function, it hijacks your train of thought, and it's,
Yeah, I
like,
wonder what that brain chemistry
hard.
actually is. Like,
Yeah.
what chemical does that throw in the brain where you're like, "I should just die. Like, I wanna melt into the floor. I want no one to ever be able to see me again," you know? Like, I wonder
Yes.
what that I'm gonna look it up real quick. Is there a chemical let's see.
Yeah,
Is
what is
there
it that is making me feel so incompetent and so
Mhm,
awkward and literally blocking my ability to
mhm.
move out of this brain space?
Yeah. So it says that it really is just, it says you feel like you're dying when you're embarrassed because your brain misinterprets a social threat as a life or death physical threat, causing your nervous system to flood your body with adrenaline and cortisol. So the stress
Yeah.
hormone and adrenaline, which makes you go like, and so that's interesting. And that makes sense. I thought that it was a little bit more than that. But maybe it's just super high doses of those that makes you
Yeah.
like literally not feel like like it feels like the end of the world, like you said.
It really does. Like, if especially if it's like a mistake, it makes you feel really incompetent and exposed and
Mhm,
vulnerable. And all of those emotions are kind of yucky feeling, to
mhm.
put
Yeah,
it simply.
yeah. I
Mm,
wonder if we just didn't have the coping mechanisms too. You know what I mean? Like as you get older with
Yeah, it comes with age for
Mhm.
sure and
Yeah.
maturity.
Mhm.
And probably experience. It's like once you've been embarrassed a few times and you didn't die, then the next
Mhm.
time it happens, you're like, "Well,
You've got proof.
sorry guys, I farted. Everyone has done this." Like,
Yes, yes, but it can be really embarrassing. So, something that was really, really difficult for me, I thought it was the absolute end of the world. I was probably 21. I was dating a guy at work, which, you know, like
sometimes you
it can
do when
go,
you're young.
yeah,
Yeah.
it can go one way or the other. It's not that I don't recommend it, but a lot of my embarrassing stories have to do with dating people at work. So,
Yep. We
it
did a
can
whole
be,
episode on that.
yes, right?
Link that back.
Yeah, so I don't know, I probably told this story on there, but it was so embarrassing to me. I was dating a guy at work and he slept with somebody else at work. And I was so embarrassed because it's humiliating to be cheated on. It just is. It's
Yeah.
something that it's really hard for people to when people know about it, it's even harder than it is just to know it yourself. And I was like, everyone's going to think I'm an idiot, because who lets this happen to themselves? It was the first time that I've ever been cheated on in my life. And I'm like, who lets this happen to themselves right under their nose with
As though
somebody?
you have any control,
Right.
but it's what your brain
And
does to you.
especially with someone who pretended to be my friend. She ended up being a shitbird kind of person, and did it to somebody else at work a couple years later. And there were real consequences that time. But it was just I was so embarrassed. I was so embarrassed
Yeah.
that that happened to me. Obviously, looking back, I would have been a lot more embarrassed if I was the one who did something like that, but I was still really embarrassed, and I literally thought about quitting. Like, I was like, "I can't go back." I gave up my shifts for probably a week, and then there was enough people being like, "This is not on you. Like, do not be
Yeah.
embarrassed by this." And so luckily, I had people to lift me up, but that was the most embarrassed that I'd ever been to a point of, I wanna quit. I don't wanna see any of these people ever again. Like, I just wanna start life over. I wanna start you know what I mean? Like, I wanna start a
Yeah.
job over. I'd rather
I
lose
need a
everything I've
reality in
built
which
here.
this didn't happen.
Yes, and that's crazy, and the reason that I stayed was obviously, like I said, I had proof that people were like, "This is not on you," so people had
Mhm.
reached out and been cool about it. But also, I whenever you work at a place like we did in your early 20s, like, these people become your entire life. Like, we went out together
Yeah.
45 people-ish every single night. Like, it was a crew,
It's
and
like a
I was
fraternity
it
almost. If
is,
you if you work in a restaurant, it is what it
yeah,
is.
it's really fun, and so I'm like, I literally can't imagine changing my life, but I would to escape this feeling of just humiliation, and
Yeah.
I don't wish that on anybody, but it was freaking fine, like,
Yeah.
it does feel like
Because
the end
you
of the
have to it
world.
takes you a minute to realize I'm not the asshole here. If anybody should be
Mhm.
embarrassed, it should be her.
Yeah, and him. Most them, and not me. I should be the last person that should be, embarrassed, but I think that we can't also control what embarrasses us, and that's the hard
Yep.
part about embarrassment.
I think that my most embarrassing moment at work was a little bit of a story, so I'll give you the full version. I am not a daily hair washer. You know this. I
Most people
don't
aren't these
I
days, I
don't
think.
feel embarrassed about it, right? Like
Yeah.
I have long hair, it's fine. Dry shampoo, you know that if my hair is wadded up in a clip like this, it has not been washed. That
Yeah.
is the present situation. That does not embarrass me. So, this particular week, I had washed my hair on a Monday morning and I rolled through the work week. I've got like 2.5-ish good hair days, and then you got some major dry shampoo
You
going
got a
on, and
yeah,
then you got a
ponytail
hat.
day. Yeah.
Yeah, then you got a full-on hat. And
Mhm.
so by the time I got home that week, it was like, who cares? I'm going home. I'll wash it when I get there, or I won't, whatever. Well, we just happened to be spending our weekend in the pool. So I was like, well, I'm not going to go wash hair just to get it. That feels stupid.
Mhm.
So we're in the pool, with the kids. And then on Sunday, I decided to have people over. We got Sunday fun day going on. So still rocking my dirty hair, but it's wet hair. Like it's fine, whatever. Well, I had a meeting that started the next morning at 8 a.m. in Dallas. So after a Sunday fun day, I load up the car and I've got the 3-hour drive to Dallas. Whenever I get to the hotel, I'm pooped, completely wiped out. I pass out and I'm like, it's fine. I'll get up, take a shower, get ready in the morning. That is my normal routine, like in life.
Mhm.
Is it smart? Does it set me up for, a potential disaster in the future? No. Not very kind to future Mandy, but
Mhm.
it is what it is. That's what I did. So the next morning, with my blackout curtains drawn in the hotel room, and for whatever reason, my alarm that either didn't wake me up or didn't go off, I don't remember. I got a phone call at 8:30. 30 minutes after the meeting has started, in which I am presenting. Thank God I wasn't scheduled to go first, but I'm still not present, so that's a
Mhm.
problem. So I panic and I'm like, "Oh my God, like I don't have time. Like I can't. There is no fixing this hair, girl. When I tell you this is dirty hair, this is weak dirty hair with chlorine. It is like it looks sopping wet.
Mhm.
There's no pretending here. No amount of dry shampoo is going to cover
Yeah,
this
revive
mistake.
this. Yeah.
Not possible.
Yeah.
And it's like, could I have stayed, taken a shower, done all the things, and been, what, another hour late? I guess maybe, but that just was not an option. So I was like, well, here we go. All
Mhm.
right. Throw my makeup back in the car. I do what I can to my face on the way, but there's no saving this hair. And I
Mhm.
get there and my boss looks at me and he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, nope, I'm not. It is what it is. I'm here. I can leave and shower if you want, but you woke me up and I figured it was more important for me to be here. And he was like,
Mhm.
then to be clean? And I was like, I didn't even have a hat with me. There was no way that
Right.
I
Does
could like,
anyone have a hat here?
yeah,
Like,
like somebody
hook
help a
me up.
sister out. And I had to present like this in front of a whole room of people that, thank God, I know well, but, like, the only thing I knew to do in this moment was, like, when it came my turn and I had everyone's attention, I was like, "All right, we are not starting this presentation with shampoo recommendations, okay? If that's what you need, I am not your girl. I overslept, I didn't wash my hair last week, and then I got in the pool this weekend. Life got the best of me. I will wash it tonight, I promise. I'll give you guys an update." But, like, we just had to, like, address the elephant in the room and then
Mhm.
move on, and then
Yeah.
move on, and I was mortified
Mhm.
because nobody wants to be like the stinky girl in the class,
No.
but that's what I felt like, even though, like, it's not like I hadn't showered in a week,
Mhm.
but, like, I looked like what is the pig pen off of Charlie Brown? Like, that's what I felt like, and I felt
Yeah.
like all the eyes were on me, judging me like, "You were just this filthy human," when it was like, "No, I was just, like, in the pool all day, and then I passed out from, like, sun exposure, and then I woke up late." Uh,
Yeah.
but I
You know
really
what?
thought, like, these people are never gonna take me seriously again. Like, they're
Yeah.
thinking, "How can she be professional with literal oil dripping off of her head? Like,
Yeah.
this is terrible." But again,
I would
nobody
rather
ever
do
said
that
anything to me
though.
about it.
Yeah, I would rather do that though than be smelly or something. You know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
reminds me of on Friends, Joey went on a fishing trip and then he overslept and he had to go straight to an audition with Charlton Heston. I don't remember. Anyway, and he did. He smelled disgusting. And the guy, so he took a shower in Charlton Heston's private shower in his dressing room and had pissed him off. And anyway, it was just, but it was like, sometimes these things happen. We have to set ourselves up for success. And when we don't, we might be a little embarrassed, you know?
Yeah.
And it
I
is
mean,
what
that
it
one
is.
really got me.
Yeah.
I have done some things that probably should have embarrassed me. Case in point, and we'll just throw it out here, like, raise your hand if you've ever shit your pants. Raise your hand if you've ever shit your pants twice in the same week. When you're not sick, you don't have diarrhea. You have no great excuse. Like, it's happened. It's embarrassing. That sucks. But like this really, that particular instance of like having to present in front of people with disgusting hair made me feel like it was this is not an excuse. This is not my body betraying me, right? Like this is everybody farts, like that kind of thing. You can't just like fluff it off like it's a
Mhm.
thing that happens and it sucks when it happens to everybody, but it happens to everybody. This is like you're gross. You made 7 days of a decision to not clean yourself, Like Jesus.
No, it's so good. It's so good, but we should circle back to the shitting yourself because one of those times was in a work setting.
It
That
it
happened
was.
that
It was.
happened at work, so tell them about that.
So okay, well, I'm gonna have
Briefly
to start
yeah,
wow, I'm gonna
briefly,
start at
but
the beginning.
keep
The
it brief.
first
Yeah.
time I was shopping in Academy with my daughter, and I thought I had to fart. I did not have to fart. It was a problem. I was wearing shorts, and then I was, like, concerned, like, not just I gotta get to a bathroom, but, like, I am in a public place, like, so I'm asking Paisley, like, "Hey, I need you to walk behind me and make sure nothing's coming out," and she's like, "What the hell?" And she's like a little bitty kid, and I'm like, "You can't say that," and she was like, "You can't shit your pants," and I was like, well, that's where we are, sis. I don't know what to tell you. It was not as bad as
I
I
was on
thought.
the phone.
Everything
It
ended up
it
fine.
was fabulous, and I think that both of the girls were there that day,
They were
if I
both there, but
remember
Peyton
right.
didn't
Yeah.
care. Paisley was
Yeah.
the one that was like, "You're disgusting."
But
So
I
we
was on
get
the
to the
phone. That was the
bathroom.
very best. I loved
We get
every
to the
second of it.
bathroom. Everything is fine. It's really not that big of a deal. I throw my underwear in the trash. My shorts are good. So I'm like, well, I'm good. Let's go back. And she's like, we just going to pretend like that didn't happen? And I was like, yeah.
We are
Like,
because no
and she
harm,
was
no
like,
foul.
she stood by the front door. She would not walk around the store with me. We ended up having to go home for me to put underwear on and then go back out shopping again before she was like, you're disgusting. So fast forward, like, I don't know, 5 days. I am at a dinner. We were opening a new Texas Roadhouse. So we've got all these corporate trainers in town, all the things. We're at a dinner that night at a sushi restaurant. And I knew I needed to go to the bathroom when I left there, but it was like the hotel's across the street. No big deal. I'll just go to my hotel room rather than, the sushi restaurant where everybody's like waiting and leaving together.
Mhm.
So I get in the car and the freaking red light takes forever. And I can't remember what happened, but for whatever reason, I wasn't able to turn left there. And it was in Rockwall, Texas. I'll never forget. And if you don't take that exit to go around, it was kind of like the Indiana thing. I had to go over the bridge, the
Yeah.
lake, and
Mhm.
then turn around and come back. So it took
Oh my
forever.
gosh.
And so I shit my pants in the car. And thank God I had a blanket in my back seat. And it was just like a little thin, shitty. I have no idea why I had it, where it came from, whatever, it doesn't matter. So I immediately reached in the back seat and like put it under my butt. So I'm like, if this goes through my pants, if the whatever, I don't want this in my car. So I'm sitting on this blanket and I get to the hotel where all the corporate trainers are in the lobby. And I'm like,
Now you
I
have
have
to
to
walk in with your
walk
blanket diaper.
inside with shit on my pants. I don't think it smelled, but like, I don't know. Like, I'm sure that your shit probably is more smelly to me than it is to you, right? Like, so I don't really know how bad this is. So I'm freaking out. I wrap this blanket around me, like, like you would a wraparound skirt or whatever, and like tuck it in like a towel and grab my other stuff. And I walk in and they're like, Mandy, come over. They're like playing cards and drinking beers and stuff. And I was like, I'll be there in a minute. And then more people are coming out of the elevator that I know. And I'm like, every Tom, Dick, and Harry that I know professionally at this opening wants to talk to me right now. And all I want is to get the shit off of me. Like, let me go. So of course I go upstairs. I'm like, burn these clothes. They're gone forever. And
Mhm.
clean myself up. And I'm like, I can't go back down to the lobby. They'll be like, what happened? Why are you? Because, you don't take a whole bunch of extra normal clothes and all the things. And it's like, well, I
Mhm.
guess I'll be wearing the same jeans for the rest of the week because those will never see the light of day again. It was just a whole hot mess.
Yeah.
And I thought something is really wrong with me that I've shit myself twice with no
Mhm.
real great excuse. other than I don't go to the bathroom when I have the urge the first time.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
I have
something
peed
to
my pants
definitely
a
learn in
whole
your
bunch of
30s.
times, but for whatever reason, peeing my pants does not stick with me like shitting.
No.
That is just
Mm-mm.
it's
It's
terrible.
just
This
not it's
is
not on the same level. Yeah, the shitting yourself goes those times go into the embarrassment hall of fame for sure. Like,
yeah,
those times, and
but they turn into
luckily
funny stories,
they are.
right?
They're
Like,
funny
I'm
stories.
not that embarrassed, or I wouldn't be talking about it on a
The
freaking
older you
podcast.
get, right? The older you get, they do become funny stories, right? But when you're
Yeah,
younger, like, if the same thing had happened to you at 20 years old, would
dead,
you have right, like,
dead.
quit your job,
Yeah,
right,
and,
and
like, if
just
I'd
never
shit my pants
return?
in the middle of a shift at work
Mhm,
and then had to, like, walk into a service alley full of everyone that I work with and then, like,
mhm.
"Hey, gotta go home, change my clothes, I'll be right back." Like, "No, no,
Mm,
I'm sorry, I will be looking for a new job in the
yeah,
morning."
I will never come back here. So, I actually had a situation, not shitting myself, but where I
Good
had to
on
walk
you.
through completely torn pants front to back, right? So, we were opening a Texas Roadhouse, and this was way, way, way back, and I was training the bartenders. And so there used to be at Roadhouse these cabinets that were up high. And so you
Mhm.
had to stand on the sinks and the coolers and stuff to get the liquor bottles out from the top. So it's a
How we
VIP
did that
night
for
or
so
something.
long.
I know. We were just a lot more flexible back then. I could never get up onto a cooler now. That would be crazy without a ladder.
Yeah.
And so the bartenders are trying to keep up, they're just learning how to make all these drinks at the same time. And so I'm like trying to bail them out a little bit by not making the drinks for them, but by getting something for them. And so the bar is completely packed all the way around. And I just yank my leg up to jump up on something, and my pants rip from front to back, like literally from the zipper all the way up to I mean, like
The butt
literally,
crack, yep.
yes, all of it. And I'm like, "Oh my god." And the people who are sitting at the corner of the bar are like, "Ma'am." And I'm like, "I know." Like, I don't know what to do. And so I like, like this,
Yeah.
and I
You're like,
go to the
"Somebody give me
back.
an apron."
Yeah. So I did. I put an apron on the front and the back, and I asked to go back to the hotel to get new
Pants.
jeans. Yeah, and they're like, "We don't have time for that." So I wore those kitchen aprons on the front and the back the rest of the night, and then threw those away. But I was just like, I can't believe that you're gonna make me live in like, we can't even
Lord.
forget about it because I'm still just, like, airing it out with
So
these
funny.
around me. But it's just those types of things that happened to me more than once. The other time that I tore completely out my pants at work was jumping
Yeah.
up on a keg, and it was in front of a trainee, but by that time I was an old pro at ripping my pants in front of people, and I was just like, so this happens. You need to wear jeans that are
Yeah.
not as tight as the ones that I
Don't wear
wear,
them
apparently.
out. Yep.
No. Well, but back then, like, we had these low rise, you know what I mean? Like, everything
I
was
don't miss
just
it.
no, I don't miss it. And so, everything was just tighter.
Yep.
The jeans were a lot tighter back then. And, so yeah, I don't recommend it at
Well,
all.
while we're on the subject of wardrobe malfunctions, we're so lucky enough to bear witness to some coworkers' malfunctions over time, that some of which were malfunctions and some of which were just like, I wouldn't
Mistakes. Yes.
yeah, just mistakes, like, I don't know. Tell them about the, maxi skirt incident.
Yes. Okay. So some of the meetings that we would do, we would be in uniform, right? And some of the meetings we would do would be offsite, somewhere like where we would rent a house or do something like that. And so you would wear your regular clothes. And so one of the girls, she wore a maxi skirt. And so she's doing her presentation in front of, like 15 or so grown men, right? 40,
Mhm,
45-year-old men. And she kind of trips up a little bit. Like, she's walking, you know how those maxi skirts, some of them were a little too long. And
mhm.
she steps on her maxi skirt and it literally falls directly to her ankles. Like, she doesn't have, I think she had on underwear, but they weren't like, the granny
Yeah,
panties that cover everything up.
yeah.
And and it was so embarrassing for her. It to me, that kind of stuff is just funny, right? Like
Well, it's funny because it
unless it
happened to
happens,
her,
yes,
not
unless it
you.
happens to you, right? It's not anything that you can't live down. But they're gonna bring it up, like they're gonna be like,
Yeah,
remember whenever you mooned
yeah.
us? Like seriously, like
But if you take it in stride and, like, it's embarrassing in the moment, but, like, get past it because it's gonna be something that gets brought up. People are gonna remember it, but it's
mhm,
gonna be a funny story,
yeah.
right? It's gonna be like us. We're just giggling because shit
Yeah,
happens to
we're not making
everybody.
fun and we're not,
Yeah,
what I mean? Like, but I guarantee that she has a good attitude about this,
yeah.
definitely at this point, if not right originally, but
Well, there was also a time where, especially during COVID, when, we went from using conference call
mhm.
dial-ins to doing everything on Microsoft Teams. And then, everybody had to be on camera so that we know that you're actually listening or whatever. And it's like, I always took showers and stuff during my conference call. So this
Yeah,
really like interrupted my normal like rhythm of
mhm.
what it was like to like be field support
Yeah,
in a
we would get
restaurant.
ready. Yeah, we would get
Yeah,
ready
we had
during the
things to do. We're
conference
always
calls. Yep.
multitasking. Well,
Mhm.
I don't know that that was really the best situation. Are you really getting the most out of this call by doing that? It makes sense. They wanted us on camera. They wanted us full undivided attention. And I will never forget the day on a full department call. We had a coworker who literally, like you could see, she went and turned her camera off, but I don't know if she like double hit the button or didn't quite hit it or whatever, but her camera was still on. And then she went to fully changing from her, pajamas to getting ready to go into a store that day to put her uniform on and just like took her whole top off and we're like, "No!" And there's no way, like, you can't stop the person who's talking on this call because
Mhm.
then the other, I don't know, 30 people on the call are then gonna be looking at what's going on.
Yeah.
So it's
What's
I mean,
everybody trying to stop and everyone's like, "Stop!"
yeah, the secondhand humiliation was
Mhm.
so real. I was mortified for her because it was like, she didn't just, like, flash the camera to be fun,
Mhm. Yeah,
This
she didn't
wasn't.
do it on purpose, so when it
No.
happens by accident, you know that it was not planned and it might not be something that they really wanted to happen
Y
at all.
Right, but it's like, I that would be a scenario where it'd be like, "I don't know if I need this job.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
don't know."
Yeah, I built a whole career and I might have blown it in just one day. I don't think I
Yeah,
can
but, like,
return. Yeah.
she didn't. She
She
didn't, and
didn't. No,
she went
obviously.
on
But the
for
embarrassment that
years
you
to do a
feel,
great
you know what I
job,
mean?
but in the
Yeah.
moment, you
Yeah.
really feel like, "Oh, this is it. This is what takes me out.
Mhm.
I will meet my
Yeah.
maker today because I will not walk back into that room."
Yeah. So I've obviously seen a lot. I mean, I think that that has happened to a lot of people where they,
Probably,
you
yeah.
know, because of just this boom of everything being on Zoom and
Uh-huh.
Teams and Google Meet and everything like that. But I've seen where people are like watching something weird happen on the screen with everyone and I'm just like, poor
Yeah.
honey, I hate it. Like I really I hate it because you really do have to be careful on those Teams calls, like what you say, because also, I mean, we had situations where we would like say something, like we'd be in the same place and we thought we're on mute and then we're saying something that we were not supposed to say that the rest of the
That
team
you
might not have
wouldn't
needed
want
to
to be
hear. Yeah.
said out
Yeah.
loud.
Yeah. It's like there are a lot of mistakes that can happen that do not they're embarrassing. They do not put you in the right light and how you want
Yeah.
people to see you at
I
all.
mean,
So,
the lesson there is if you don't want people to know you're being an asshole, don't be
yeah.
an asshole.
Don't be an
But
asshole.
if you wanna be an asshole, be good at it.
Yeah. Yeah, but
Make
that's
sure
the
that
same
everyone
thing.
in the room is on mute.
Yeah, we have all had a work situation with a coworker or a boss where you are trying to talk shit about them to somebody else and you accidentally send something to them. You know what I mean? Like that's probably happened to
Wrong
a few
person,
people. Yeah.
sorry.
Oh, it's so bad. That's
Were you
so
talking about me?
embarrassing.
No.
No. It's pretty clear the screenshot shows that you were making fun of me. It's fine. It's
That's
fine.
so funny. So funny. Yeah. So, yeah, I think you're right, though. I think that with age comes a little maturity and the bounce back is a little faster.
Yes.
Now, let's clarify a little bit the difference between, something embarrassing happening like a wardrobe malfunction or,
Mhm.
something like that compared to like an actual mistake that you make,
Ugh,
right?
yeah.
That changes things. And I got an example. I early on in my career as a marketing coach, I was put in charge of tracking a contest. and it was all sales related. So it was a spreadsheet, which we all know I live for. Should
Mhm.
be really easy. But in some of our reporting, the stores were listed in a certain order. And in some of our reporting, there was 2 stores that were sometimes flip-flops. I have no idea why, but it,
Mhm.
it, it just was a thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't catch it. And I calculated the results of this contest incorrectly. And it got announced incorrectly. And the person who should have won called me out on it and said, "Hey, I don't think your numbers are accurate. Can you relook at this?" And I was like, "Huh, okay." So I went back and dug a little deeper. And it turns out I had announced the wrong winner for said contest, which doesn't sound like a really big deal, except for the prize was an all expense paid trip to Boston and to like some football game and like a tour of the Sam Adams Brewery and all, like it was a
Yeah, it was
really,
a good prize.
really
It wasn't a
big
$100
prize.
gift card. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I had to eat crow and go back to that person and say, "I'm so sorry. I know you're excited, but I screwed up and you didn't win." And luckily, you know, our partners with Sam Adams were like, "Mistakes happen. It's fine. We'll just take them both." And I was like, that's an option. That's really great." And so
Yeah.
that's the only thing that really made it to where I didn't just really, really get down on myself because
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah,
this
you
is
made it
big.
so 2 people won. That's really fun,
Yeah.
but it diminishes it for the person who actually won just a little bit. Hopefully that it's more fun if this other person gets to go too, hopefully that's how they saw it. That's how I would see it. I'd be like, "This is awesome. It's more of a fun prize now because I get to do it with you guys." But it can be so embarrassing, right? So, I think it's just a mistake that affects other people, right? Like, it does feel like you can't come back from it, because
Yeah.
you have so much pride in your ability to do your job and you publicly do it wrong,
Yeah.
because we all make
Fell on
little
my face.
mistakes. Yeah. But when you publicly do your job wrong, where it affects people, and luckily it all worked out for the absolute best on that
Yeah.
contest deal. But like whenever because we've all had this happen where we
Mhm.
publicly fall on our face, we are not prepared for something that we're supposed to be. We leave out 6 slides of a presentation
Ugh,
somehow, they just
yeah.
didn't make it on. Like, there are so many things that happen to us through the years, and if you, like, let that get to you, right, you're taking yourself too seriously, and when you focus on it, it only makes more things like that happen, I believe, and
Y
it draws more attention to that you're making mistakes because 'cause you're dwelling on it, right? If
Yeah,
you can
yeah,
just be
you're
like,
putting the spotlight on a situation that doesn't deserve the spotlight.
no, and you just need to own it and just like, I totally did this, right? Because that's the other thing. A lot of people, when they're embarrassed, they
Pass
deny
the buck.
and yeah. And it's like you have to just freaking own it and you have to just roll with it and be like, I did this. I am so sorry, but this isn't going to happen again. And
Yep.
file it in a place where to double check those things, you know?
Well, you bet your sweet ass I double check spreadsheets like a crazy
Mhm.
person after that. So,
And we had so many things that were reporting that were so jacked up, because of
mhm,
coming from 2 different systems that we got reporting
yep,
from and, and everybody has those things in their job that it's like if everything runs perfectly, this is not going to be a problem.
right.
But there are things that can help you fail and so you have to be really careful with it. But to me, those things should not be embarrassing. They should just be lessons of
Yeah,
I'm not going to make that mistake twice, but I understand why it embarrasses people because you do put a lot of your self-worth in your job, which I am doing a better job at.
yep. You have started to let go.
Yes, but it's like your self-worth is not wrapped up in this at
Yeah,
all, like, and I understand why it would be, but this is another lesson of if your self-worth is not wrapped up in this, why is making a mistake so
yeah,
embarrassing?
I mean, we all judge ourselves more harshly than
Mhm,
other people, right? And I think that's normal, but how you respond to making a mistake will determine what people remember about the mistake. I was so
mhm,
worried that I wasn't going to be trusted with the results that I put out in the future or that I wasn't going to be trusted to even do the tracking of said results in the future that it somehow spoke to my inability to do my
mhm,
job correctly. But I called the guy, I owned it, I
mhm,
apologized, and then we fixed it and then it was fine.
Yeah.
I'm sure that is not what is remembered, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's not the thing. But I think if nothing else, but in celebrity situations, we've all seen people make mistakes and then not handle it correctly, and that when you don't handle it correctly, sometimes
That's what people
that
remember.
is what people
Mhm.
remember, and that
Yep.
is what makes it to where you can't come back, right?
Yeah.
And living in a
Mhm.
day and age of cancel culture, which I do believe is alive and well regardless of your celebrity status,
Yes.
how you handle it is everything.
Mhm.
Whether
I
it's,
agree.
tripping over your skirt or calculating something incorrectly, like, weird stuff happens to everybody, but
Mhm.
how you deal with it, like, just control what you can,
Mhm.
fix what you need to, and then move on, because if
Yeah.
you dwell on it, it ain't
Mhm.
helping nobody.
And when it's one of those situations with a wardrobe malfunction, right? And it's just these things happen, don't take yourself too seriously. Just literally make
Mhm.
fun of it and be part of the joke because it takes away the ammunition of people to bring this up to you for years to come, right?
Yeah.
I there are things that I can remember because in some way they affected me. You know what I mean? Like literally, I don't want to chance this being on the podcast, so I'll tell you a story after we get off of here.
Okay.
Because I was like, oh, I want to tell this story, but I think it's crossing a line. I think it's definitely crossing a line. But I need to go back to before that. Don't be the butt of the joke, be part of
Yeah.
the joke, because it just goes away faster, and
It's not fun
um
to laugh at somebody who's laughing at themselves, you
no.
know? So you
Yeah,
just take the power out of it
you
completely.
take the power out of it and it goes away so much faster. Like you were saying though with the mistake thing, if you react badly to people making fun of you for the wardrobe the wardrobe malfunction that you had, if you are so serious about it and everybody else is making fun, they're going to remember that you were weird about it. So it's
Yeah.
like just try and roll with it. I know that sometimes it feels impossible to not be like, but I'm going to die, right? Like
Yeah.
this was so everyone saw my
Because your
ass.
body tells you.
Yeah, but it's not that serious, and if you can, you know, be part of the joke, it's
Comedy will relieve
yes.
so much,
Mhm, yeah,
truly.
it really does. So, anyway, I don't know what else to say except for to everyone, just embarrassing things are going to happen,
Yep.
and I haven't seen one yet from somebody else or myself that's the end of the world, right? Even though it feels
Yeah.
that way.
Well, and I feel like if you're not making mistakes and if embarrassing things don't happen to you, you're either not human or you're not
You're not
taking
doing
enough
anything.
risk. You're not
Yes,
putting
right.
yourself out there, right? Like, this is just a natural part of life
Mhm.
and you can't
Yep.
protect yourself from it. So just
Mhm.
like accept it, embrace it. Sometimes we shit our pants. I
Yeah.
don't know what to tell you.
Mhm. Yeah. So even if that's the only stories that we get, we think that those are really funny. So please
Yeah.
send us
Can't hear them enough.
your embarrassing stories, things that happened to you at work, things that you thought you'd never get over, and obviously have now because it just takes a little time to get over these things. And we will share them on our stories. So definitely share those with us. We want to share them.
I love it. Well, this is a fun chat. I
Mhm.
always love talking about the misfortunes of myself and others when comedy is involved.
Mhm.
For whatever reason, and bodily functions and malfunctions of wardrobes like that just
Yeah.
always gets me going. So I look forward to seeing all those responses too. But in the meantime, we will see you guys next week.
Yeah. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.